Hello and welcome to another episode of the Y'all Dirty Podcast, where we talk all things dirty when it comes to our homes, hygiene, and really just anything that gets under our skin. I am your host, Sara, professional organizer, cleaner, packer in the Indianapolis area, as well as in Nashville, Tennessee. With me is my trusty sound engineer, Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was supposed to have a Lasik consult yesterday. Have you ever had Lasik done?
Yeah, I did it probably 20 years ago.
Okay. So I backed out.
Chicken?
Yes. I worked with a client yesterday, and the whole day I just got myself all worked out. So as I was driving there, I called them and said, I can't do it. I've actually passed out in the eye doctor's office before. It grosses me out, like eyes, like touching eyes.
Do you know, you don't really feel anything. You smell it. That's what's weird.
Ooh.
It smells like...
all these comforting things I'm hearing from people now.
Yeah. When that laser is doing its thing, it smells like it's burning, So
Yeah.
It smells like the dentist when they're drilling.
Oh. See, I took someone to get their LASIK done when I was in my mid-20s, and I sat in the lobby and I looked up at the thing.
Don't do that. That's...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing was, I drove him home and he had trouble with one of the eyes, and he had to go back and get that eye redone. And ever since that happened, I was like, I just don't know. But I'm getting tired of wearing glasses, and, I wore contacts for a while, but the last time I put them in, I actually burst a blood vessel putting them in. So, but my mom was like, I think you're too old because I'm 42. And I was like, so I actually.
That's good. I needed that. And I agree.
I've never seen you so happy.
I'm just going to have to pause you for 1 second. I just want everyone to know that I fully agree with Sarah's mother. She's too old.
I thought you meant you were pausing the podcast. You know I can still hear you, right?
Yes, but they couldn't hear you as I was giving my official announcement.
It's not like I can jump across the room and just put my hand over your mouth. You're going to say what you want to say.
Not at 42, you're not.
Oh, gosh, you're just a riot. Yeah, well, she was the one that said that to me. So when I called them, I was like, well, my mom said that I may be am I too old? Because I don't want to waste anyone's time. And they're like, the whole point of this visit is to come in and we will determine if you're a candidate. But my mom has been talking about cataracts because I have floaters, and I kept thinking.
What's that? You got to tell people. I don't know what that is.
So you don't know what cataracts are?
I don't know what float. I've heard of cataracts. I know that extremely old people have them. But
so my mom has cataracts. Well, she keeps saying to me that she is getting ready to have her cataracts, I guess, worked on. And I didn't know what those were, but I have floaters. So I have like the little black things that float around. Yeah, it's if you can see Eric's eyes right now, they are pretty wide. It's just it's in your field of vision. But it has to do with the gel that's behind your eye. So when little pieces break off, they float. And so when my mom talks about cataracts, I'm like, okay, so is that floaters? And she's like, no, they're cataracts. And so yesterday as I'm driving, I already called and canceled the consultation. And then I called her and I'm like, I don't think I can go to the consultation. I'm afraid I'm going to pass out. And she's like, yeah, and you may be too old. So she said it again. Well, then she said, but in a few years you could get cataracts, and then they have to work on your eye for cataracts. And I'm like, so I'm driving down the road and I'm like, so what does that mean? And she goes, well, that's where they replace the lens. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to run this car off the road. So yesterday was just that's where I get grossed out, is talking about eyeballs.
No, I think it was, there's a procedure called PRK. I think it's PRK.
Okay.
They did that in my right eye. I didn't have any warning. The doctor said, well, you have a really bad astigmatism. You probably should do PRK. It will eliminate any of the side effects with LASIK. He said, it's a better procedure. That's what we did to ourselves.
Okay.
So that
did to ourselves.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I mean, the little machine does the surgery.
Right.
They're just kind of there, but that's all I had. So what I wasn't prepared for was they used this thing on their finger and scrubbed my whole eye lens off. So instead of doing the little flap, they just removed the lens, and it was horrifying.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I did yesterday, where I could just throw up on myself and then pass out.
Can we do an episode live from your LASIK consult?
From the consult? I don't know. As long as you bring smelling salts. I'm dead serious. Like, my mom can actually share this story with you. I slid down the chair. They came at me to do the exam, and the doctor had already put his face in the thing to see me, and I just wasn't there. I slid down to the footrest, and they had to pull out the smelling salts. So
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you have anything similar you want to talk about as far as this week?
Well,
any appointments?
No, I really just want to call this LASIK place and ask him, how old is too old?
Well, that's what I try to ask her, but she was all about me coming in, because I was like, I am 42. Like, I'm not trying to waste anyone's time.
I'm just going to do a little search here.
It's like Centers for Sight in Carmel. Do you want to call them? They're probably already gone. You're not going to get them. They seem like great people. They have great reviews.
Okay, so, well, there's currently no age limit for older adults wanting LASIK. Mm-hmm. There are some vision conditions affecting adults age 40 and above that cannot be treated with surgery.
Okay. So if any of our listeners have some answers for me that will make me feel a little bit better or even a little bit younger.
And I hope that they just... Please
write to us. And, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can put it in the comments. So yeah, I told her, she's like, well, when do you want to reschedule? And I was like, you're putting a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
So I told her I would try to get back in there in the next couple of weeks.
What's the name of this place again?
I think it's like Center for Sight or something. I don't know. The doctor was like in Best of Indie magazine. He's supposed to be really good.
There it is. Yep, they're closed. You're lucky, because I was definitely going to call them.
I knew you were. Huh. Okay. So, well, speaking of being scared to death, the last time we left here when we did the previous episode, and I was telling you what this episode was going to be about.
It's terrible.
The look on your face was very similar to when I was thinking about getting the LASIK consultation. I know you think this is horrible. I know a lot of people will think this is horrible, but in our very first episode, you said to me, okay, give me some examples. Give me some examples of some stuff you see. Like, all of a sudden you're like...
You did not include...
What? What we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm not going to put all my cards out on the table in the first episode.
Can I tell everyone what it's known as? And
you know what? Let's go ahead and play the clip that we have.
Okay.
And then I will turn that over to you, and you can say what it is that you want to say about it.
Let's see. Oh, TJ from Sweetwater just wrote me.
Oh.
I need a new guitar case.
Okay.
Okay, here's the clip.
Stay focused.
I'm trying.
I get it all the time. Every time I go to a city, I know people there, and they're like, just stay with us. We have plenty of room. I ain't staying with you.
I love him.
You ever stay with people? It's weird. They put you in some weird room nobody uses. Single bed, Star Wars sheets, Darth Vader, C-3PO. Can't even get comfortable. You ever get into somebody's bed? It's weird. You get in, you can't. Look to the left, there's a booger wall. Somebody started a booger wall?
Oh my gosh.
Try and get comfortable, you can't. The owners always come in and knock on the door, and they're gonna tell you what's wrong with the house. You always get that little knock. Are you sleeping yet? No, I'm gonna stand. Why? What's going on? You got a booger wall here to your left. You haven't seen that yet? Nothing?
So today's episode is called Y'all Dirty Booger Walls.
Mm-hmm. Can you call it You All Dirty Canadian Caviar?
Uh, maybe I can put that in the show notes.
Yeah, that's what it's known as.
Where in Canada?
My little
totally made that up.
My little group of friends will say. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
know I'm starting your dictionary, right?
Yeah. So add Canadian caviar.
Canadian. How did you come up with that?
I don't know.
Just it comes to you in your sleep.
I think being terrible comes naturally to me, and it's a short stretch, and you know.
See, that's what cracks me up about me saying that to you, that, hey, our next episode, we're going to talk about booger walls. And you're like, well, what was that? And when I said it, you're like, oh, that's too gross. There's no way.
Gross. Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, I've been putting up with your grossness for a number of years.
Giblets.
Oh, I have something to tell you about that later, but we'll save it for the end of the show.
Lady giblets?
No, we're not coming back to that right now. But I do want to say this. This is something that I notice in my clients' houses. But if you can just kind of hang with me for a little bit, this is going to go in a different direction than I think most of you will realize. So just have some patience. Give me another 5 or 10 minutes after we talk about the initial stuff. And then I think from there, it could actually be helpful to some parents. So if you're the parent of a young child, especially a young boy, I think this is actually going to be a very beneficial episode for you to listen to. So let me ask you, Eric, have you ever seen a booger wall in person?
If I have, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
well, that's what I was interested to ask you, because I know you don't have children, but there's adult children that you hang out with.
Yes.
And I didn't know if any of their homes or their children had.
Not that I'm aware. I've never.
Okay.
But yeah, some of them do have kids, but I don't like hang out in their rooms.
Right. Yeah.
I would just assume it's disgusting and
yes.
Yes.
So I had seen booger walls in bedrooms, because that's kind of where they are, is like if you've got. If you have like a twin size bed pushed up against the wall, or like a bunk bed, that's where you tend to see them, because little kids at night, when they're bored, if they're not sleepy, they tend to like draw on the wall.
Get your filthy ass out of here before I call security. You nasty.
Please continue.
Please play that for a 6-year-old.
I will.
Nasty.
Well, we can just do the abbreviated version.
You nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The worst booger wall I have ever seen, I will never forget it. It was in a country club neighborhood in a suburb of Nashville. One of the most expensive country clubs in the country as far as like the joining fee.
Is it in Brentwood?
I think yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I was trying to be vague. But yeah, I think it's like $100,000 to join. But it was in the teenagers' bathroom. That's
too old for that kind of stuff.
Yes. So the interesting thing was when I researched, because trust me, there is research that goes along with. You've got this look on your face.
So gross.
It's not just kids and it's not just teenagers, but there are adult men doing this in the workplace. And I didn't print off any of that stuff because it's going down a rabbit hole. And I feel like if you haven't learned by the time you're 30, 40, like we're talking corporate offices, they have posted signs, just like we had our sign for the golden shower episode.
Mm-hmm.
People have had to post in the workplace, do not make our office restroom a place for your boogers.
Burger King.
Burger.
Yeah, Canadian caviar, not welcome.
Oh, goodness. So when I say this is going to go in a different direction, I actually want to start off with this blog that I printed off. It's by a woman. Her name is Candace Kirk. And I apologize to her that she's going to end up on this episode, but she was the one that wrote a blog post called The Booger on the Wall. And her blog is called Her View from Home, Stories from the Heart of Every Home. Mm-hmm. So this woman, she said that she and her husband had been attending a new church and they were supposed to host a Bible study. She had a 21-month-old and a 4-week-old. So I'm assuming the culprit here is the 21-month-old. I hope it's not her husband. Anyway, she said that, all day she cleaned. She avoided the kids. The kids wanted to play, and she made it a top priority to clean the house, which a lot of people do. And then she said 2 minutes before our guests were scheduled to arrive, I went to the bathroom to fix my makeup, and that's when I saw it. A booger the size of a dime and the color of a green highlighter stuck on the wall in full view as one enters the bathroom.
Come on.
Yeah.
You can leave out the details.
I didn't say it. She said it. If we ever have an eye episode, then it doesn't take much to gross me out with that. So why is this, why do you have such a problem with this? I mean, you were just horrified. Like, we have talked about all other kinds of bodily fluid, but this is the one that you just, you were so resistant on.
People doing that intentionally,
yeah.
I kind of wonder what's on people's keyboards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be an episode all its own, is the keyboard episode. And iPads, electronics in general, we'll have to cover that. Huh. So long story short, she tries to clean it and it would not budge, because that's what happens. For those of you that have housekeepers and you don't have to worry about people cleaning these walls, it does not come off easily. There is actually a procedure that you have to follow.
Know what that procedure is? That's why people have textured walls. When you see that lumpy texture, it's like they're just painting over it over and over.
It's not plaster. They're just boogers.
Mm-hmm. They're just covering up the old caviar.
They're angry in there and they're trying to work their way back out.
Having said that, our living room is textured walls.
Do you think it's your wife?
Oh, no. It was like that when we bought the place.
I'm going to call her. If you call the iPlace, I'm calling her.
That's fine.
We'll compare notes. So the reason I'm bringing up this blog is because she said that all of a sudden she just felt like a failure. And she began to cry, and she could hear people coming in downstairs, and everybody was laughing and having a good time. And she was upstairs stressed about this booger wall that was starting. But the reason that she wrote the blog was to kind of reach out to other families, because this is actually a thing. For people that don't have kids, I mean, this is what you will find in a house with kids. And her biggest thing was, listen, we all focus on trying to be perfect people, and we try to put on this facade for the world. And she actually says, let's see, I could drop the cloth, or, I could drop the cloth and join the fellowship of imperfect people and allow God's grace to wash over me. And that's what I choose. So I wanted to start the episode with that because I knew that you were having a huge problem with this. And I know that as people listen to this, they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to listen to a podcast that's just intent on grossing me out. And I just want to make the statement that that is not my intent. With a lot of these subject matters, these are things that people are facing. And so as we talk about some of the grossness that goes along with it, I also want to say that there's definitely some grace with this, that maybe there's going to be some tips. What are you looking at? There's nothing on it.
Is how much of that there is for just this one episode? All of that little situation you have there on the desk.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, Eric's getting interested in what's in front of me. So, Eric, when I realized that you were going to have a problem with this, I actually went on Amazon and I found something. I purchased a book just for you. Mm-hmm. This is for you, buddy. It's called Don't Wipe Your Boogers on the Wall.
Let's make copies of that and just leave them weird places.
Yes.
Just so it's kind of like our way of accusing them passively.
Yes, yes.
Also, how much paper you got there for this? Are you doing that every episode?
Yes, this is every episode.
I know you're always nagging me that you put all this work in, but what I'm hoping is...
I love you say that. I mean, you said that like it was air quotes, like all this work. I do. I put a lot of effort into this. I always have a stack this big. If you notice, as I'm talking to you, I'm constantly shuffling around because I have so much stuff that I put together.
You're like a TV reporter from the 70s. So what do you, is that about $78 worth of printing?
Oh my gosh. No, it's like 5 articles, 6 articles.
Multiple pages.
Oh my gosh.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not going to sit there and retype this stuff. You're getting off topic. This is written by Marilyn Bricklin Leibovitz. I can't, Leibovitz. But I thought I would read you a nice little excerpt. What are you looking at? This is her on the back. That's the author.
I thought, is the other one's a drawing? I thought it was somebody with an eye patch. I'm across the room, sorry.
Yeah, this is the illustrator. Kaylee Powers. Shout out to her because she had to draw all the boogers in this book. Oh, God. So I've marked this. I'm going to read you a little excerpt.
Great.
Okay, Eric, do you want me to hand this over to the wife so she can read this to you again at bedtime so you can sleep? Okay, it's story time. I've seen boogers flipped across the whole room, and there's no way to know where they land or on whom. It's all just disgusting when it's done in those ways, but it has to come out. Breathing's hard if it stays. So the way to get boogers without being gross, whether they're hanging or stuck in real close, is to pull out some tissues and wipe booger balls and never, no never, stick boogers on walls.
That's the
Oh,
worst
Eric,
poem I've
I
ever
love
heard in
you,
my
buddy.
life.
It's not a poem, it's a book. It's a whole book for kids. And apparently it's popular. I have another book that I'm going to pull out later, but we're going to talk about some other stuff first. Okay, so now that we have talked about what booger walls are, let's talk about what boogers are. And I'm going to read this to you. There was a question for Discovery Health. Why are boogers sticky? Because once they get on the wall, for anyone who's tried to get them off, it is nearly impossible. And I'm like, why are they so sticky? So boogers are made up of mucus. Mucus is, listen.
I think they get it. What's it's made out of? It's not cotton candy. Go ahead.
Are you muting me or muting you? Eric's checked out for a second. Mucus is produced by mucous membranes. Your body has mucous membranes in many places: the stomach, intestines, nose, lungs, eyes, mouth. All these mucous membranes secrete mucus. Okay, so here's the part that I want people to understand. All mucus contains mostly water, but then it contains mucin. And the mucin is what makes it sticky. So if a doctor tells you to take Mucinex, that's something that actually thins that out. Are you even... Are you replying to TJ?
Yes, was.
Okay, just hang with me for a second.
Okay, Mucinex got it.
Mucin is a branched polysaccharide. Saccharides are sugar chains. Starch, for example, is a polysaccharide. If you mix cornstarch or flour with water, the resulting substance is sticky. Mucin does the same thing. Mucus is essentially a paste made of mucin and water. Okay, so Eric, do you want to pick a disgusting subject at some point?
How about cleaning up a murder scene maybe, or like one of those chain reaction vomits?
I'm telling you, parents are the strongest people out there. We just have no fear. We have seen it all. I told you I listened to a Mike Rowe interview on a podcast. It was fabulous. I'll have to send that to you. The one that did Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
But the reason that I thought of that was because he said that there was like a crime scene cleanup episode that they had. Did you ever see that?
No, but
I'm going to go find it.
no, I might have, but yeah, I don't think people realize that something like that happens. They leave and it's your mess. So.
Oh, you're just saying that if something happens in your house, like a crime scene?
Right. And the worst ones, I don't want to throw everybody, but if like a loved one and it's a suicide, that's like double traumatic. It's because I've seen these, it's like skull fragments and brain pieces. And
okay, now you are getting on me for talking about snot, and you just said brain fragments.
Yes.
Do you realize this? Do you realize how hypocritical that is?
It's skull fragments, but
when the fragments hit the wall, I'm sure there's some boogers and snot and mucus that hits the wall.
You're the worst person.
I love you, buddy. Just hang in there with me. It's going to get better. You're hanging. Okay, so Nasal mucus is created within membranes of your nose and sinus. Okay, so here's where we're going to start talking about some of the other stuff I want to get into. The consistency of your mucus is a sign from your body about what's going on inside of you. One form your mucus can take is a thick, rubbery, solid consistency. This can be a sign of anything from dry air in your home to a bacterial infection. Okay, so one thing I wanted to do with this episode is not just hate on Booger Walls, and I do not want to shame parents. As someone who cleans and who has encountered these walls and have had to deal with them, I want to share a few things that could help people, and it's not just about cleaning it up. Like, let's get to a point where we can help prevent some of this behavior from happening. So there's two different things happening. One, there is the behavior of doing it, but then there's also the cause of why these kids are dealing with us in the first place.
So you're saying like the medical or whatever.
Yes.
The dry air.
Yes. So dry air is one of those things. Can you think of a reason why kids would have that problem to begin with?
Ooh. Well, I mean, dry air.
Well, there's dry air, but then as far as medically, what's going on with them in their body?
Sinus
I'll
problems.
give you a hint. It starts with a D.
Okay.
I love your little headset.
I love these.
Oh
They're
my gosh.
dainty.
Eric has this tiny little headset.
Yeah. That'll make my ears hot.
It's like wearing a coat too little.
I'm fine with that.
It's a little Chris Farley headset moment. Okay, so dehydration.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
I never would have thought that.
You're like, oh my. Okay, so study finds inadequate hydration among U.S. children. So more than half of all children and adolescents in the U.S. are not getting enough hydration, probably because they're not drinking enough water. So that's one reason. Drinking enough water is essential for physiological processes such as circulation, metabolism, temperature regulation, and waste removal. So there was a research study that took place with 4,000 children, ages 6 to 19. They studied their urine, and they found that a little more of half of all children and adolescents weren't getting enough hydration. Boys were 76% more likely than girls to be inadequately hydrated.
You know why?
Why?
Just...
I'm telling you, I'm going to put a camera on you.
No. Because
they're going to end up in the college dorms.
Athletics, that's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay. I just don't know.
I
just don't know sign language.
Apparently not, pervert.
Oh my goodness. I'm only going to threaten you one more time with a camera. And now I can see you now that did you just move the monitor? Is that all you did?
No, this is my laptop.
Right.
That is a whole computer there.
Right. But you did something different since last time, because now I can see your whole face and your chestoral region.
I was using this other computer entirely.
Okay.
This
so
is
now
just
I
my
can
personal
see you.
one.
Now you're not hiding.
Yeah, I'm switching him back.
If you're not careful, I'm going to swing this camera around. I'll do it, sir.
I'm just going to.
I'm going to go all mom on you.
Going to put up a little wall here.
Yeah, you think you are. You already have an emotional wall up.
Thank you.
You need to. Okay. So when it comes to kids and being dehydrated, this is an issue with children. And so not only is what they're doing gross, but when it comes to how we can prevent this, if your child is someone that doesn't drink a lot of water, that's something that you can start working on. And let me just kind of set up the stage here. So let's say you're a parent that doesn't often go into your child's room, or say you go in and clean up the room, but you don't really pay attention to like their bed. I don't know how people don't go into their kids' bathroom, because that's where I've seen some gross stuff.
Like kids have their own bathrooms?
Yeah, this one did. And well, in the house that had the booger wall in the bathroom, the teenager's bathroom, this was one of like 6 bathrooms.
Oh, wow. So that's like a whole other level.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I understand why they may not go into every room. But yeah, so dehydration is going to keep the mucus thin. I think it was last spring. I woke up one morning. I had been taking, now you're going to make fun of me. You're going to call this a hippie thing. I had been doing a cleanse. I had been taking some like herbs and, and so when you take cloves help, cleanse your body of like parasites and stuff. And I had done this cleanse like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and it was phenomenal. Like I felt great. I had so much energy after a week of taking this stuff. But last year was different. I took it for 3 days and then I woke up and my ear was ringing. Like I had to put in like ear pods and blast the music just to balance it out. And luckily it stopped like 4 hours later. So I went to the ear doctor because I was like worried that it was going to come back because it was so traumatizing. I didn't tell them about the herbs, but they looked in my nose and looked in my ears and all of that stuff. And they're like, well, you need to keep your mucus thin. Your mucus is too thick. So they're like, and this is where my personal experience can help because I have a deviated septum, which we will talk about deviated septums at some point. Why are you looking at me like that?
What is that?
You don't know what a deviated septum is?
No, I don't have one, so I don't know what it is. Please continue.
Well, it's where let me just go ahead and pull that out. Let me get down to like Article 15 for you.
58,000 pages over there.
It's the knowledge. It's just all my knowledge.
Is it?
Spread out into this
you're
binder.
very old. Very old. This happens.
You're older than me.
Well, that's fine.
Okay, so what is a deviated septum? Your septum is the wall of cartilage and bone that separates your two nostrils. Ideally, the wall is straight and divides your nose into two equally sized nostrils. In most people, however, it's somewhat crooked or off-center, deviated. It's not usually severe enough to cause problems, but in some cases it can interfere with breathing and cause ongoing congestion and sinus infections. So for the longest time, I had sinus infections like 3 or 4 times a year. And I know people say that antibiotics don't help with sinus infections because they're viral. But if mine gets really, really bad, I mean, the only thing I can assume is that mine gets really bad because the mucus isn't moving. And so all that bacteria gets stuck up in there. And so that's why an antibiotic helps with mine when it gets like too far along. I know I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I am. I'm going to start putting all of this stuff on my Bumble profile. I've already decided.
Please do.
Well, I don't want to waste anyone's time. So they need to know that I have all of these issues and I talk about this stuff.
Man, it would be like the longest profile.
Oh my God. I have a very short profile. Actually, last week, someone asked for my number and I was like, Google me first.
That's hilarious.
So, and I put my number and then I got a text like 10 minutes later and he's like, hey, I Googled you and I found your podcast, LOL. And he's like, but I still texted you.
Oh, well.
I'm like, hey, as long as I put it out there.
He's begging for it.
I don't know. But now anyone who Googles me and then knows that I'm talking about this stuff every week, they can just decide how grossed out they are with me. But hey, I put it all out there. So anyway, yeah. So, but the reason a deviated septum is a problem is because obviously one side gets closed off more than the other. Are you okay? Do you need to sneeze? Do you need a tissue? Don't wipe it on the wall.
It was a yawn.
Okay.
Sorry.
It was a yawn. Are you not having fun?
Oh, this is a great time. We're 34 minutes in, by the way.
I know. I've got a clock. People are enjoying this.
Love that little clock.
Oh my God. It's my son's. Why do you think it's weird? Anyway. Okay. So, yes. So kids have little, and I know this is where you don't know some of this stuff because you don't have a little one, but for the parents that have little babies, that's why, and maybe I should direct you to, there was a TV show where, have you ever heard of the, it's like a little snot thing that you can, snot sucker. It's for babies. I never did it. I used
Is it like a turkey baster?
Well, there's the thing that's like the turkey baster. That's what I used, where you put the little thing up their nose and then you suck the snot out. But some people have the little tube And there's supposed to be a filter. There's a movie or TV show. Someone needs to put in the comments what it is. But they put it in the baby's nose and then he sucks. And I guess the filter wasn't in. And so it goes. Eric has given me the dirtiest look. I am having the best time. Aren't you having the best time? Mm-hmm. He's about to kill me. Do you want to talk about brain fragments again? Would that make you feel better?
No, I want to take a wager. This is going to be we're up to like 6 listeners now. This is going to take us back down to like -3.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, this is all important stuff.
Uh-huh.
Someday you can pick the topic, and no matter what it is, I will sit here and I will be a good sport.
Sure you will.
I will. Let's shake on it. Let's do a pinky swear. Do an air pinky swear with me. You get to pick.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Besides eye doctor stuff, but.
Yeah. Well, that will gross me out. And then if I pass out on camera, then that will make you so delightfully happy.
I want to do an episode live at the consultation.
Do you think that we could get the eye doctor and the oil change people together and just do one live episode where I change oil and then they talk to me about, okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where we're going with that, but
I don't know. You want to do these live episodes where I'm embarrassed.
Just one.
It's hard to, I don't get embarrassed that much anymore.
No, we're all aware clearly at this. You have a camera pointed at you talking about this.
I'm a parent.
It's hard to get people with no shame down. You can't keep them down. They just bounce right back.
Kind of like boogers on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I tell you what, I will commit to 10 more minutes and then we'll be done. How's that?
Okay. 46-minute episode. Perfect.
Okay. There we go. That's our agreement. Okay. So here's the thing with allergens, dust, air pollution, particulate matter in the air. Let's see. Can all wreak havoc on our respiratory systems, leading to nasal congestion. So here's the thing I notice when I go into some of these homes. People that have children that don't have a lot of breathing problems and don't have a lot of those issues, they have a purifier in their room and they have a humidifier in their room. So what are you doing?
Nothing. Oh, that was nothing. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to pass out.
Nope.
So one of the solutions, I'll jump ahead to the solutions. I do want you to read this book, though.
Do you have an air purifier in your house? What about furnace?
I do. I have 3 or 4.
Do you change the furnace filter?
Absolutely.
What kind?
So.
What's the MERV rating?
The MERV rating. I don't know. I had like a really, really good one in there. And then someone came and worked on the furnace and said that I had I think it was he said it was too expensive for the unit, that I had to put a cheap one in because it's an older home.
Well, depending on the furnace, you can restrict the airflow too much.
Right. I think that's what I was doing. Now, it was an older furnace and they came out to look at it for something else, but they're like, while we're here, we're going to give you the $3 one.
Yeah.
But I have little homes purifiers set up in different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who've never done that, if you set up, even if you have a clean home and you clean the home frequently, if you set those up around your house and every 2 to 3 months you look at the filter, you'll see what those purifiers are catching that's not going into your lungs. So I do keep up on those. Do you have a purifier in your home?
Yeah. We have 2. I have kind of a big...
Oh, and I see. That's what that is right there, right?
Oh, yeah. There's one in the studio, too.
Yeah, because we're gross in here.
Well, I didn't want to say it.
I know. But even if you have a brand new home, so we're dealing with dust particles in the air, and then you're also dealing with dry air. Mm-hmm. So that was the other thing, too, especially this time of year. So what's helpful at my mom's house, my mom's basement is like a wet basement. So there's a dehumidifier down there, but it has the level. So the guy that came out, and this is a long story, but anyway, the guy that came out to talk to me, that did the mold testing to make sure she didn't have black mold, he said, listen, if your little guy who's 8, which, like I said, I have a deviated septum, so I have trouble too. But he said, if the level gets below 50 and you guys start getting nosebleeds or whatever, then he said, make sure that you're running the humidifier upstairs so that it doesn't get too dry.
So you're saying the relative humidity below 50%.
Right. So like if her basement dehumidifier is set at 50, like when I went down there a couple days ago, it was at 40 just because the air is so dry because it's cold and dry.
Right.
So, but that is a good indicator to me that, okay, I need to have the humidifier running throughout the day because I always have it running at night while we're sleeping.
So what happens if it gets above 60?
Well, it kicks on at like, I think we have it set to like 55. So it does kick on and it stays on top of it. And then we have it set to where it just drains. Like the hose just goes right into the, yeah. So
when you get it above 60%, you start growing mold.
Right.
So there is a sweet spot.
Yes.
And 55 probably.
That's what he was saying. He said, I would set it to, he said you can set it to 50. He said, but if you notice people are getting nosebleeds, then up it to like 55.
Yeah, it probably can't keep up anyway.
Right,
I mean, if it's just one that you buy at the store. It's,
right. We got this like at Lowe's or something.
Yeah.
But it's still good. It was like a $300 whatever. But yeah, it keeps it like over the summer. If we turned it off for whatever reason, like when we went out of town, we turned off everything like to go on vacation. And when we came back and turned it back on, I think it was like 80. So it had to run for a while. But normally it doesn't get above like 65 or 70. But I mean, before I actually got it set up with the hose, I was dumping that bucket like twice a day. Yeah. I was dumping the bucket. Mm-hmm. That's not code for anything. Okay, so purifier, humidifier, and then you want to rinse the nasal passages with saline solution.
I have one of those.
You do?
Like a little, yeah, because especially when you're mowing in like this time of year and it's just dusty and leaves.
Yes.
Even with a mask on, which, man, it's a rough deal.
Yes. And when I go to clients' homes, some of them desperately want to pull up their carpet, but they have like an old pet that they're waiting to die.
Oh, that's nice.
They have flat out said to me, they're like, we want to, but these are the houses that have the most problems because they have really old carpet and it just needs to be ripped up. But their kids are taking allergy medicines like nobody's business. And so we're all just, what I would like to see them do is just go ahead and rip up the carpet and maybe just, because the dog is older and really can't get up the stairs anyway. So it's like, I would rather them rip out the carpet upstairs where all of them sleep and then just put up like a baby gate so the dog can't get up there. But at least that way, the upstairs, they can really control a little bit better as far as the quality, the air quality and the dryness and all that stuff.
Well, the furnace is just going to circulate it. So,
yeah, but I mean, just having carpet in general, because you have all of that old dust, which we talked about as dead skin cell, or not dust, but dust, dead skin cells.
Dead skins,
yes. All that wonderful stuff. Okay, so have you ever used a neti pot?
So the one I have it's just a clear bottle that you squeeze it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually used to use a neti pot, but I kept like thinking, because my mom was like, use a neti pot. This was like in my 20s. But I kept thinking, man, it just still feels like there's something up there. Well, that's part of having a deviated septum. As they say, you probably shouldn't use a neti pot because you're running all that water through your sinuses. And if it gets stuck, then it can create some bacteria up there.
Yeah. Well, you definitely want to use distilled water then.
Yes. And you always want to use that. But we actually use a spray. And so just want to talk about quickly what I do with my son, because I promised Eric 10 minutes and I have 2 or 3 minutes left. So
I don't know.
We actually have a routine, and I think this works really well with younger kids. And I would say if you're not doing something like this, start doing it soon, because when they become teenagers, they are not going to listen to you. And so when you have these teenagers that have these walls in their bedroom, bathroom, dorm rooms, and then when they go out into the corporate world and decide that those bathrooms are fair game, I would say start doing this with them now. One thing I do with my son is before we go to bed, I will say to him, hey, we need to clean out your nose. So what we do, because he'll be kind of sniffling like throughout the day, and so he has never done anything. Like like I said, he's a clean kid, but look at who his mom is. Mm-hmm. So we blow his nose with a tissue. I'll take the saline spray and spray it up his nose. And then we wait a second and then we blow it out. And then that kind of becomes a game when he actually blows something out of his nose. So that's where, he doesn't get grossed out, but then we take care of it to where before he goes to bed, his nose is cleaned out so that he's not just laying there like messing around with his nose, which is what kids, especially boys, will do. And if it's true that 76% of boys are dehydrated, then it's a really good explanation as to why they do this to their bedroom walls and bathroom walls. And so anyway, the other thing is electrolytes. And there's a lot of electrolyte drinks that have a lot of sugar, which, isn't good for so many reasons. But there are electrolyte packets out there for kids that are like sugar-free. I did want to talk to you. I'm shocked you didn't mention my bottle of water here that looks like.
Well, what did you tell me before the show started?
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You never listen to anything that I say anyway.
Thank you.
Okay, so when it comes to adults, the adult people that have problems with this, it's called Age Quencher Hydrate Electrolyte.
Wait, has the word age in it?
Yes, Age Quencher.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Weird.
Now, this one actually helps with keeping your skin hydrated so that you look younger.
Okay. So
Do I look 42?
For the older ladies like yourself. Got it.
I'm just saying that at all ages, they have different drinks that will help with electrolytes. So for the older kids.
And much older women.
Right, much older women. I love this. So when I started doing the infrared sauna, have you ever done the infrared sauna?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to make sure that you're really hydrated when you go in there. So I actually found these little packets at the infrared sauna place that I went to and started drinking this while I was actually in the sauna. And it helped me sweat better and it kept me. They are.
They probably just watched on your video that door open and close by that.
Oh.
Someone's in the hallway.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, sorry.
We are getting close to Halloween. I bet did you set me up? Is someone to come and scare me?
No.
Okay.
Oh, remember that time you were pushed down at the... Yeah.
Pushed down.
You were with your boyfriend at the time, haunted house. Guy jumps out with the chainsaw.
Yes.
He pushes you to the ground and runs.
I totally forgot about that.
I didn't.
He did.
I did not. That happened.
Do you still give him?
Occasionally, because he also said, now this was 1998. He was talking about Kurt Cobain and said the term tattered jeans. And I remind him of that all the time.
Yes. Because I'm kind of a scaredy cat. When you grow up watching like Children of the Corn and some of those, where did we go? We went to was it a pumpkin patch or a hayride or something?
It was a haunted thing. Yeah.
It was a haunted thing.
Yeah, he jumps out with a chainsaw. You get shoved down. He takes off running. Because didn't the guy actually stop and be like, kind of felt bad, like hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
Oh,
he did.
Didn't. Yeah.
I'm glad you keep track of this stuff for me.
Yeah.
I know. You protect me. Did you help me up? Or did you try to help me up? No? Did you chase after? Did you just run like a little girl?
I actually
like the
wasn't.
Rest of them?
I wasn't there. He told us this story, which made it even funnier.
See,
because
I can't remember who was there.
I don't know, but when he told the story, like, why would you even tell that story?
Right.
Still loved it though.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So do you drink electrolytes?
Yes, I drink. Usually, I'll do like one coconut water a day and a Pedialyte.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Aw. See, Pedialyte is good. That's what a lot of doctors recommend. I do have to give this disclaimer that I am not a doctor.
What? Just hold it up so they can read it. We can't hear you read anything else today, lady.
Oh my gosh. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Well, as far as like drinking I have to be careful because when it comes to drinking electrolytes and all that stuff, I have to give the overall disclaimer. So anyway,
people are turning into the show and taking it, Sarah said I have to do it.
Well, yeah. Well,
it's not happening.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm suggesting to people that they need to stay hydrated and that they need to use saline solution, like even though this is all like very basic stuff, like you just never know. There's certain things that I do have to get out there. So anyway, this is called Age Quencher. I love it. It's great. And for kids, there are other options out there. But really, if they don't, I think it's, if they're not big on like fruits and vegetables, then you do need to start thinking about like electrolytes for them.
Or make them eat fruits and vegetables.
Well, that's harder than what you think. And
Is it?
Yes. And I totally understand what you're saying.
What
but
is there's a term, is it helicopter parent?
Yes, those are the people that hover over their children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tell us more about your nostril cleaning dailies and this poor kid.
No, well, here's the thing. If they're laying there and they're sniffly and they can't sleep, then is it so horrible that I help him with this before bed? Well, because see, the thing is, I know he's going to end up.
He's 19.
Who's 19? Your face.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm not going to do it. See, here's the thing. When you teach them stuff when they're young like this, because those little saline mist things, they can't push on their own. Those are actually pretty hard. And then when you go to spray them, you have to make sure that they spray up at an angle.
Let him try it.
Oh, I'll let him try it. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, if you make it part of their nightly routine.
Okay.
So they need to drink water.
Okay.
They need to drink electrolytes if their doctor thinks that
this is all at night.
Well, I'm just saying in general. It doesn't have to be at night. I'm just saying if the booger wall is by their bed, these are things that you can start doing. And I will also suggest that if you find a wall like this in your home, don't immediately start yelling at your children and telling them not to do it. Like, actually, I would suggest acting like you didn't see it and then start implementing some of these other things.
Really?
And then clean it, which we just quickly have to talk about cleaning it.
How
because
about
it's
they
not,
clean it?
Yes, they will.
That's part of the natural consequences. They do it, they clean it.
Well, I think you can clean it the first time and then help them fix the problem.
Okay.
Then if it keeps happening, you can say, hey, like, mommy, daddy cleaned your wall. And we're trying to clean out your nose before you go to bed. So if you have a problem, here's some tissues. There was one guy that made a game of it, which I really didn't like it. He put up a piece of paper on the wall that was like, you were horrified, that was almost like a little maze. And so he's like, oh, well, now he can put the boogers on different places on the maze and it becomes a game. And I'm like, no, because you're still putting it on the wall.
Whoever
so don't
that is
do
is
it.
A psychopath and should be in jail.
And I'm not going to mention his blog. But yeah, I mean, I think, so basically, as far as cleaning them, you have to spray it with, you have to get them wet again. That's the thing. And there were people online that talked about how they would take and make little spitballs and put them on those. Eric, I love you. You know I love you. I know.
How
We're
much
almost
money did
done.
you spend in Pine Sol?
I don't use Pine Sol.
What do you use?
So there are these wipes called Boogie Wipes.
Oh gosh, there's a whole thing for that?
Yes, it's actually, they're wipes that have saline on them. So if you spray the stuff up the kid's nose and they have like little, like little crusties and stuff, you can take the wipe and then that soothes their nasal cavities.
I was talking about to clean it off the walls.
Right. So the reason I bring it up is because the Boogie brand.
Do you have those? Do you use those?
I did when he was little. The wipes.
How long did you use them for?
Oh gosh, just a couple years.
So how much was that? You spent $7,000-8,000 on those. I'm sure they're expensive.
Well, think about all the different kinds of wipes out there. I mean, for convenience, people will use wipes for various things.
I haven't thought about it till just now. Okay, so what is there? 3? I don't know. I probably don't want to know.
Well, if you're trying to blow a kid's nose or help them blow their nose with a tissue and it's all dry in there, you can spray up their nose. But if if you can't get them to hold still or if it's just really dry, sometimes it's easier to just take a little wipe and then wipe their whole nose. And then that kind of gets some of that up in the cavity.
Gotcha.
So, but there was someone, the Boogie Wipe people that have their own blog said, hey, take our wipes and use the Boogie Wipes
to
wipe the walls But someone said it works fabulously because you've got the salt, the sodium chloride that we talked about.
Oh, we never did finish that.
I know.
Anyway.
We'll have to come back to it. But yeah. So, but the thing is to get it wet.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to spray the wall with like an all-purpose cleaner or a degreaser. I mean, it's
a degreaser.
Very bad. Yeah.
So Pine Sol?
I just don't like Pine Sol. Pine Sol just gives me, sorry, Pine Sol. It just gives me bad memories from when I was a kid. Just the smell of it. I don't like it.
Let's get into that story. So what happened? You were bad and like just.
No, it's just the sense like White Castle.
Uh-huh.
I cannot even. One time my mom was sick and all she wanted was White Castle.
Okay.
And I said, I will go pick you up medicine. I will pick you up Taco Bell, but I can't even go through a White Castle line.
Why?
And that has to do with my aunt and uncle.
Oh my gosh.
They had a camper when we were growing up and we would go, and first of all, I hate camping, but they would take me on these trips. They would take me and my cousins out camping and they would roll through White Castle on the way out there. So not only was there the smell of the actual White Castles in the camper, but then of course the next day as we're all camping, just the aromas that
next
see,
week,
you're getting so excited.
Yeah, next week I'm definitely having White Castles.
Do we need to do an episode about White Castles?
No.
What is in them? What are they made of? Is it a mystery meat kind of like?
No, I think it's actually a family business.
Well, I'm not saying that.
And the lady from the Board of Health said, now this is in Marion County, which is Indianapolis. It's the cleanest fast food restaurant you can eat at.
Really? Well, if I can go in with like one of those little plugs on my nose, maybe I can look around and see.
Or that dumb little light there.
My little light. Oh, well, thank you for bringing that up. This will be our last thing and then we'll go. I got this off of Amazon and I thought that we should use it sometime.
You want to use it in here?
In the studio bathroom that's down the hall.
Oh.
I think we should take a video. Everyone, if you're
flip
not...
the light off and do it right around there where you're sitting.
Oh, maybe I should.
Yeah, just the light.
Where's the light?
It's right behind you.
Is it right behind me? Oh my gosh. Okay, so will this make you happy if we do this?
Yeah. Now this rope light will still stay on. But
that's true. Okay,
actually,
so for those of
that.
you who aren't watching on YouTube, this is an LED black light.
Oh my gosh.
And I've already put batteries in it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to turn off the light.
You can
Is
unplug.
it the one that says lights?
Yes.
Oh, do you mean unplug the live on air?
Well, you can try it without it and just see. Just flip the switch and flip your light on and see what it does.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay. Look at all the stuff that's around you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's a glowing drink. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to do the microphone.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay. Can people see this on the microphone?
I don't know.
There's little, yeah. Well, of course, there's spit going into these things. So,
yeah. The windscreen.
Okay. So the light switch.
I think it's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. There are different spots around the table. Here, let me see your face. See what's all over your face.
Something in front of that box reacted big time.
Like right over here. It's a paperclip.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was like, holy moly, what have you done?
Oh, goodness. But I thought this could be a fun activity to go because we had our shower episode and I thought maybe we can, because there's a shower down there in that restroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll play with this another time. Yeah. Did you learn anything today, Eric?
You're a horrible human being.
Thank you. Do you mean that?
Yes. And all of this organizing and the paperwork, holy moly.
Yeah. Would you say I'm a decent organizer?
Yes. Well,
did you listen to my bonus episode that I made?
Yes.
Without you? I know you didn't. It's okay. That's why I recorded it without you, because I knew you wouldn't be interested in holiday shopping.
Well, I did make a list of people that were probably the most organized.
Okay.
So there's a show on Netflix. It's Clea and Joanna.
So I know them.
Okay.
Because I do this in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. So you actually do know those people.
I do. So, I mean, they probably don't know me because compared to them, I'm such a small fish in that pond. They go back and forth to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that they are great at what they do. So quick story about them. I was doing organizing for a long time, and then I had my child. Then I had a kids brand in Nashville. So I was in boutiques and I was sewing and I was like in the visitor center and all that stuff. So that business got really big, really fast. And so we built kind of like a sewing area out in the garage. And this was before anyone kind of knew who they were. This was like maybe 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And so I called them to come out, and they were actually going to do the whole garage haul for me. But within a few months, this was kind of leading up to, I had this thing right before COVID where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And then during COVID, a lot of the boutiques ended up closing, which was really sad because they didn't have like an online presence. But yeah, so they came out, they were perfectly lovely. Some of their products at the Container Store, I suggest to my clients. So I have nothing bad to say about them. They are very organized, and they have done a wonderful job with their presentation and their marketing, and kind of how they got started on Instagram was very,
So Clea and Joanna, Martha Stewart,
yes,
Adolf Hitler, Sarah Garrison. Those are the most organized people there are in the world.
I'm on the same list as Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now he is in front of you on the.
He is. Okay, so I'm lower down the list.
Way more organized.
It is pretty funny because I think it's Clea's father-in-law. One of their father-in-laws works at the Container Store in Nashville. And so for those of us who organize in Nashville and go in, he's so proud of them. And he's like, do you watch? And I remember the first time he asked me that, I was like, no, I don't watch their show. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm so busy doing all of this stuff. I don't want to sit down and watch someone else do it. And you could see his face just fell. Like, I can't believe
you
don't watch their show. I know. So I'm going to have to go watch it. But it's almost like my like law enforcement friends. They don't, unless it's like very accurate, they don't like watching like police shows.
Yeah, they're not going to watch cops. It's like, I just got off work.
Well, right. But that's what I'm saying. So that's how I look at their show.
Yeah, I could see that's fair.
Yeah. So.
I don't watch it because I'm not a psychopath.
Right. But yeah, so I did a bonus episode. I'm going to do a couple of more of them coming up.
So if people really hate themselves, they could watch this organized show and your bonus organizing.
Yeah, the organizing podcasts that I'm going to do are going to be a little bit more laid back, and Eric won't be with me, and that's fine because he will just be a pain in the tuchus. Even more so than today.
It's actually motivation enough for me to maybe do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh my gosh. I actually should have you come out to some of these storage units because that's going to be a bonus episode soon is storage units. You would be, have you seen a hoarder storage unit ever?
I have never had a storage unit in my life. I don't know, other than you, I don't think I know anyone that has stuff in storage.
There's a lot of people that have stuff in storage.
Yeah, they just don't talk about it, I guess. But
well, and I'll talk about this on my
Is that a dirty secret?
Episode. What, the storage unit?
If somebody has something in there, should they not tell anyone? Does it make them seem, please, we all want to know.
If somebody has something in there or if they have one.
Right. Is that an indication of someone that's a hoarder or maybe...
Oh, no. And that's what I'm going to talk about on the bonus episode is the good reasons for people to have storage units. Like when I moved back from Nashville, I was only going to make 2 trips with my SUV because I sold all of my furniture to come back. But so anything that was going to go on the second trip went into a small storage unit. So to pay a 1-month storage unit at the time for the smallest size at this particular place, it was like $40. And that was like all of our memorabilia type things that had to come, but they just didn't make it into the car with all of our like important daily stuff. So yeah, I mean, they can be a good thing. It's the biggest thing is how long you keep them. But for people moving that either can't decide what they're going to do with stuff and they just you're basically buying some time by having a storage unit. But most people just use them as an extension of their homes. and they keep them. I have a client in Nashville that I don't work with as much anymore because we hit one of those walls in terms of what they were willing to do. But they actually upsized their home after their child moved out. And they did that because they had 3 or 4 storage units that they wanted to bring all that stuff back into the home. Mm-hmm. But then they never got rid of the storage units. And then they ended up packing in the new home with additional things. So I just didn't feel right taking their money and, constantly going out there and trying to help them because they were just dead set on accruing more things. So, but that happens. Sometimes you have to break up with clients. So I know there's a lot to unpack there, and that's probably going to be my bonus episode on Friday for those who are interested in organizing. And do you want to pick the topic for next time? Do you want to think about it? What's something that grosses you out that you want to talk about?
Well, I don't think it has to be gross. I think it should just be a topic that is maybe interesting. That is part of this.
Right. Some of these things are interesting to people that they apply to. Like I said, for parents. Like if you had a pet episode, which I do want to talk about pets because pets are their own separate category when it comes to cleaning. But like, I'm not a pet person. I'm too OCD to have a pet. But you have pets. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure a pet episode would be more interesting to you, correct?
Well, Meatball is perfect.
Meatball? What's Meatball?
He's 8 pounds.
Oh.
And he's a mini Schnauzer Chihuahua mix.
Oh.
He likes to watch television, eat pork rinds, and bite children.
You probably shouldn't tell people that he bites children.
Why?
Because then he'll get put down.
No. Never.
Meatball. How many pets do you have?
Well, so I had Meatball. He's the greatest.
Okay.
She wanted a bigger dog when we moved into.
Is that the Great Dane that
fell
in the pool?
Yes.
Okay.
So then she wanted another little dog, so we have a French Bulldog. This is the 3.
Okay.
It's not crazy though. Everything's clean and
Yeah.
there's a doggy door and fenced in. So, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I will let you think about it. I have some other ideas for future episodes, but I will give you a few days to think of something. If you don't text me in a few days and say, hey, I want to do this, then I will come up with the next thing.
Why don't you just ask the people that listen, just give them 3 or 4 options. Crime scene.
Well, why are you saying this to me?
Crime scene, animals, car, inside car, like
okay.
automotive.
Yeah, car interiors.
What's on the seat, steering wheel.
Yes. That's a good one. Why do you want to just go with that one?
Sure.
We can let the people pick.
Okay.
We're here for the people. That's what you said.
Sure.
Are we coming back next week?
I don't know.
Okay. I can't do this without you. I feel like we're over the hump, though. This was the one that I really wanted to talk about that you were just very resistant to.
Are you coming home? 5 in the morning.
Please.
Something's going on. Can I smell your...
What?
What was that song from?
I'm not telling. I just wanted to cut it off right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Somebody actually made that, and and it's on YouTube, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
But no, it's like a real song.
But it's not something we're going to get shut down for.
Well, it's not really super appropriate, as you could tell right when it got off.
Right. Oh, so I do want to tell you that I have another giblet towel coming. I went in and fixed the spelling. I made a couple little tweaks on it. I got 2. One is for you, and then I put the other one on our website.
Lady giblets?
No, it's just your giblet towel. It's the Y'all Dirty Giblets, and it's the male giblet towel. But there is one at y'alldirtypodcast.com.
How much is it?
$14.99.
Really? And that's like with it printed on or embroidered or whatever?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's it cost to ship
Got
it?
a deal.
I'd say. What's it
It's
cost?
like $5 something.
To ship it?
Yeah, because it's lightweight.
So $20 stocking stuffer.
Yes. So I have one up there right now. I wanted to wait until you approve this one.
Oh.
So whoever gets this one is going to get the same one that Eric has.
Yes, we can both autograph it. It'll be great.
Yeah. Oh, we could. Oh, that would be fun. The two of them should arrive in the next couple of days. So if someone goes on and purchases it,
we'll sign it
sometime this week, they'll get it within a week.
Should we trace giblets on it? No. No.
I don't think they want our drawings on that.
Drawings, but yeah, like, hey, if we pay you twice as much, could you not sign it? I get that too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
So if that one sells, then I will get like another handful more. But we're going to get quite a few on there before Christmas. And yeah, so I think that's it for today. I appreciate you being a good sport. Mm-hmm. If any parents want to comment if this was helpful or not, I would like to know. And yeah, we'll just catch up with you next week. We will have an amazing episode no matter what Eric picks. It's probably going to be about cars. So what do you think? Will that get all the single men to be interested?
Probably.
Okay, we'll do something about cars. That sounds good. All right, you can find us at y'alldirtypodcast.com. You can reach out to us at y'alldirty@outlook.com. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.